Fred, I'm going to ask you a kind of a loaded question that you don't have all the variables to answer, but it's starting to feel that way. Is Travis Etienne on this football team when the season kicks off in September?
I don't see a reason why not.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly going to be a numbers game at the end of the day. I don't know, without having done research prior to this segment, I don't know what his cap hit is and, financial, what his numbers are. And those things are always a part of decisions a lot of the times. They're going to allow those guys to go out there and compete. And, whoever doesn't make it, there are 31 other teams out there. They'll still have an opportunity. But in terms of the Jaguars roster, they're going to compete. If he has a solid cap, I'm not sure if he's not that expensive numbers-wise, financially. If it makes more sense to just hold on to him versus letting him go, then they'll do that. If they can get something from him, if he has an amazing preseason, then he becomes leverage for a potential trade. Who knows? Yeah, I would advise everyone to pay close attention to it because it's certainly going to be one of those things that are going to be a headline someday.
Hey, Fred, who's your favorite NBA team? Did you have one growing up? Do you have a favorite team? Do you just watch?
I mean, I sorted it out as one. I was close to Miami, so Miami was the team I would root for. Mm-hmm. But also, I love Shaq and I love Penny Hardaway. Mm-hmm. So I tilted more so towards Orlando, because of Penny. But yeah, I mean, just all in. As far back as I can remember, it started with Chicago because of that guy that everyone's calling God these days, the GOAT God. He was just so special and commercial, and you wanted his shoes, and you wanted to be like him. Everyone wanted to be like Mike. So it started with Chicago. But when Miami team took off, I'm like, all right, I like the Heat. And then Orlando, I said, okay, I like Orlando. And I just fell in love with our Florida basketball programs, and that's who I root for.
Do you watch the NBA playoffs, Fred? Where would they rank? Because would that be your second favorite postseason behind NFL, or am I being presumptuous?
I think it would have to be my second favorite postseason. I don't watch many more. I'm getting into hockey a little bit. I used to watch baseball some years ago when the Red Sox were dominating everything, and Randy Johnson would be pitching for Seattle, in the Barry Bonds and the Mark McGwire era. But I don't really get into baseball as much now, unless you're the Savannah Bananas. But I do think the NBA postseason is amazing. I like it much better than the regular season. A little tighter, a little easier to follow, as opposed to having 3 games per week per team. You're kind of all over the place. And last night, what a great kickoff to the second round of the playoffs. We had 2 upsets already.
Yeah, 3, and if you count Cleveland losing game 1, I mean 3. Here's how big these upsets were. If you took those 3 teams to win straight up, Denver, New York, and Indiana, and bet $100, you win $19,000. That's how long the odds were against these 3 teams pulling these game 1.
Yeah, and it was 3. My apologies.
Yeah, no, that's true. But 3. Last night there were 2, so I didn't mean to sound corrected per se, but it's even deeper than that. It's crazy.
Yeah. And yesterday we sat down with Paul George. And, that NFL player versus NBA player who can have the easier transition, that debate, the conversation came back up. We had some fun with it. And I admit it, I think the NBA will have an easier crossover to be able to come and play in the NFL. Most of those guys are just going to be receivers or tight ends and run down the seam. Versus us, we're at a height disadvantage. So it will be much tougher for us to try and develop that skill set, whereas they just have to run. But also another interesting question came up. He asked about Travis Hunter. And he wanted to know why there aren't as many Travis Hunters in the NFL. NBA, you can have a two-way guy. It's totally different. But in the NFL, those guys are considered unicorns, and Travis is so special. He's certainly considered a unicorn because you have to have that endurance and stamina. You have to have a total amazing skill set. You have to be very good at 2 different things, but you also have to want to, and Travis wants to. So we kind of try to explain to him that it's certainly a special player in him, and it's going to be interesting to watch it all unfold. But the biggest question was, how long will he be able to do it?
Hicken brought up something from, 12, 13 years ago. It was the year after you left the Patriots, in fact. But do you remember? I had almost forgotten that Bill Belichick used Julian Edelman as a corner. In fact, he started him in the AFC Championship game against the Ravens because I'm assuming they had such injury issues. So, to your point, I think it's mindset and conditioning. There probably are guys that could go do it in a pinch, right? Like you said last week, what's a corner? He's a receiver that can't catch. So it could probably be done by, like, would you, in the limited time you had with Edelman, would you have ever thought he could play both ways?
No, I wouldn't have never thought that.
Yeah.
But that was a numbers crunch.
Yeah, they were injured, weren't they?
Yeah. They were banged up, and it wasn't a thing where Bill wanted Julian to play over there. He was just the guy who they needed to get over there in important down situations. Third down. There should be a situation where next year going forward, Travis should never be on the sideline on the third down if they're going to use him both ways.
And I don't think he will be. Yeah.
He should never be off the field on third down, or either any other pressured situations where you need him. But again, it's going to be so tough juggling. The people look at what he has to do on the field, right, in terms of being out there and being available. But with the wear and tear of the NFL, the length of the NFL season, the practices, being smart with determining how many reps he gets in practice to make sure he's ready for those games. The games itself, the quick turnaround throughout the NFL week. And not only that, this one part that people do not focus on is being able to get the classroom work done at both positions.
Right.
That's going to be the toughest part. You have to know your assignment like the back of your hand. Most people don't know the back of their hands, but you have to know your assignment that much, right? And going from an offensive meeting room, getting time in there, now having to transition to the defensive meeting room to get time there. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be tough for him. And if he can do it, it just speaks to how great of a person he is, how passionate he is, and how great of a player he is to make it happen.